Anja here, and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and today we are on the last week of our autumn walk cal, and it is time to start that border. So yes, let's get to work. It's a good border, okay? There's quite a few rows to do on the border. But because of the stitch that we chose to do in the middle of the blanket, that stitch has a tendency to sort of pull in a bit. So even though we started with quite a lot of stitches, our blanket is not as wide as it could have been with that amount of stitches normally, right? So as you can see here, look, this is my base. It's a little bit crinkly because yes, I have got my 197 stitches, but on top of that sits a stitch which pulls in a little bit. So we are going to cheat basically. Now, you know me and crochet, I'm not a professional designer. I want to give you an enjoyable hobby. And I don't want you to be worrying about, oh, I've got so many stitches and what do I do now? It doesn't work out, blah, blah, blah. Make it work out. Enjoy what you do. You know, make it work to your requirements, okay? So yes, we are doing a border, but normally you would do one stitch per stitch. We are going to skip stitches. We're going to make it so it works for us, okay? And with the border, normally, you know, there's counting. How many stitches have I got? Does the pattern work? The pattern repeat I have designed or come up with only requires a repeat of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So if you have a row where it doesn't work out, just skip one and, you know, do the next thing in the next one. It does not matter. In the whole scheme of things, you are not going to see that you've lost a few stitches. In the corners as well, sometimes I skip 2, sometimes I skip 3, just because I had to. But honestly, I'm not worried about that. It still looks really neat and nice anyway, okay? So, you know, enjoy your crochet hobby, enjoy crocheting, enjoy this border. There will be long sides, but, you know, this is our last part of the blanket. It's going to transform the look of your blanket completely. So let's get started. Now, we are going to get started by doing a row of single crochets, just so that we can determine the amount of stitches that we're going to do. Not that I'll be counting the stitches, okay? So there's no counting stitches. There's only working out in the corners later on, you know, what you need to do there. And that's it, basically, okay? And we need to make sure that our border is not going to go wavy like this. There's several things we can do, but you might still end up with a little bit of a crinkly border or even a curled up border. So mine did curl up, and that's because of the stitch that we use. I steamed it and it sorted it out. Okay, so steaming your border will help. So don't worry about what your border, you know, if it curls in, don't worry, you can sort that. Now, what I also like about the border is the fact that, yes, we've got the pretty border on the front, but also look at the back. I love this side as well. So whichever way you look at it, I like the border. See? It has a special sort of, yeah, I like it. But, of course, you have got to now establish which is your front and which is your back of the blanket. And there is a front and a back, okay? I'm calling this the back with the path at the back like this, and this here is the front. So I need to turn my blanket round, and I'm going to make sure that my pretty side of or the structured side of the border is at the front, okay? So make sure you have your blanket facing you with the little edge from the path. Okay, so let's get started. I've made a slip knot on my hook. Try and find a hole in the corner and do a standing single crochet. So just a single crochet as if you were already crocheting. Then you do 2 chains, and then you do another single crochet in that same hole that you found there, and you've done your corner. Now we are going to do, so this is the top of the blanket, and you could do every stitch, but I am suggesting you lose quite a few. Okay, so you are going to straight away into the stitch, pull up a loop, and into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and now finish your single crochet. So that means you've reduced by 1 stitch, and do a couple of stitches and do some more reducing. I've even just skipped them as well. Okay, feel free to reduce by about 30 stitches, 20, 30 stitches, but keep checking. So look, this is still straight, and that's fine. Make sure it's not too floppy, make sure it doesn't bunch up, but the minimum amount of stitches you can get away with is great. So try and reduce quite a few times. Do like 4 or 5 stitches and then reduce. I'm now reducing too much, to be honest, I think, anyway. But you need to get rid of as many stitches as you can, so you are not, I'm going to reduce here, so you are avoiding the wavy effect of your border. Make sure every so often that you lay it flat and that you can still lay it flat nicely and it doesn't curl up at all. Just think about it. You'll be doing less stitches in the border, okay? Oh dear. Right, let's do another decrease. There we go. Yeah, I think that works. It's because we have used a stitch that pulls in the blanket that we need to do this. Otherwise, your border is going to go like that. Clearly, there'll be more stitches in the border and it will be quite clear. So keep losing them. There's no hard and fast rules here, but as many as you dare to lose, basically. I will see you at the corner. I'm at the corner and I am going to try and find that corner location where I will do 1 single crochet, 2 chains and 1 single crochet into the same location. And now, of course, we're at the long side and we have to work with the lengths of the double crochets or the chain 2s that we did. Now, once again, don't put too many in. Travel along. I'm going to put 1 single crochet around the body of the double crochet, 1 single crochet where they meet, and 1 around the body. And yeah, something like that. I am not going to do 2, certainly not. Again, less is more. The least you can get away with, the better. You don't want to be doing all that many stitches in this border. This is your ideal opportunity. And I am going around the bodies of the double crochets or the chain spaces because it's easy for us to get in there, but also we've got enough on the side there to lose a few, so that's fine. That doesn't matter, and it's a good way to anchor our border. And once again, I'll lay it down. If you have a feeling that it's going, maybe undo it and do a few less, but don't worry too much, but just do a few less in the rest of the border. Okay, so this is how you are going to do the other two sides as well, of course. So you're doing this side, same thing. Find that last leftover strand and lose quite a few, and then here, same thing as what I'm doing there, you know, going round the bodies of the double crochets. So I counted here, and I in my blanket have lost 20 stitches. So you might want to really consider losing 30 stitches in your blanket, okay, if not more. Right, I will see you when I have finished this round. And I'm just doing the last few stitches here. Yeah, I'll just go under this V here and do a slip stitch. There we go, to close the round. How brave have you been? Have you lost some stitches? Now here at the end, see here, when I started this side, I noticed, see this, can you see that there's too many stitches there? It's going like that. Then here I did a few less and it's straighter. So this is sort of, you know, it's a fine line, but you have got to be brave to make sure that now is the time to avoid that wavy border, okay? So we have another chance to lose some stitches, okay? So now we are going to do a row of half double crochets, and we are going to, if you need to, lose some more stitches. Right, so let me just see. So this is my last stitch of my round. Now into there, into the chain 2 space, half double crochet, chain 2 and a half double crochet in that same chain 2 space, because of course this is our corner now. And now we are going to place half double crochets in every stitch. And if you're sure that you have lost enough stitches, then go ahead and put one in each stitch. If you feel brave, you might just do a reduced one. Oh, there we go, I've lost it. Okay, I'm feeling brave. Let's try again. So you pull up your loops, yarn over, pull up your loops, and then you pull through all of them. And that's made me lose another stitch. Maybe it wasn't necessary, but you know, I'd rather lose a stitch more and my blanket still lying flat than risk a wavy border, basically. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, that looks good, right? So continue like that, and again you are going to be checking to see if you haven't got that waviness appearing already, or if you think I didn't quite reduce enough. Here I'm going to reduce 1 or 2 more. That's perfectly fine. It's from the next row onwards that we will have to be, you know, set for the rest of the border. Okay, so you've got another opportunity to be brave here. Not as brave as in the first row, but yeah. Okay, so half double crochets all around, 1 half double crochet, 2 chains, 1 half double crochet in the corner. Let me just put it down. There we go. Look, it's nice and flat, and my blanket on the inside is still okay as well. I will see you at the end of the row. I didn't lose enough stitches, in my opinion, in that first part of it. So now in my second row, I have lost even more at regular intervals. So I've done 2 half double crochets together, and I think this is just right. If I had done more, the blanket would have started sort of puckering up. You don't want that, but I can still put it down. This is coming up a little bit, but that's fine. I can still push it down. So yes, it's a fine line, but you need to do it to make sure that we don't get a wavy border, okay? And yes, I've made it to the end of the row. This is my last stitch. This is the chain that's coming out of that very last stitch, going under the V there. If not, just go in between, that's fine. Now for row 3, we are going to repeat row 2. So we're doing another row of half double crochets. So I will meet you again when you have done row 3, which is another row of half double crochets. Just finishing off my last stitch here. This is the chain that comes out of that last stitch there. So go under that V, yeah, and do a slip stitch. So this is the end of your first color of the border, and do go and check which colors you are doing, okay? And now we are going to start with the design. And I have been looking at my blanket, laying it flat, and I have to say this is the minimum amount of stitches I can get away with in my border. My corner is coming up a bit, but that will be, it can be flattened down anyway, and it will be sorted later on as well. So on to your second color. So now you're going to do 2 rows of each color that you have in the border there. And I'm going to use a contrasting color so you can see clearly what I am doing. So I'm going back to my lavender. And you have got to start in a corner. So make your slip knot, insert your hook, and starting in a corner, because if we start in a corner, we know where we are. I have got a trick for making the rows look less long, seem less long, but we can't do that just yet, so bear with me on that. A half double crochet, so yarn over into the corner and do a standing half double crochet, chain 2 and a half double crochet into that same corner. There we go. Okay, so we've done the corner. Now we are going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch. Now I tended to skip this stitch here in every row, so just if you want to skip it in every row. I do also believe that we shouldn't do too many stitches in the corner, so to skip that one is good. Okay, so a half double crochet in the next stitch. Then you are going to do a front post double crochet in the next stitch. So that means this is the next stitch, but to do your front post you have to go down to the row below, to the second row, because it says in the pattern the front post double crochet are done in the second row below. So 1, 2. So you go round that stitch there to do your front post double crochet. So yarn over, around that stitch in row 2, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2, and that brings you back to the same level as we were doing our stitches there. And of course now that means we have done this stitch. We didn't do it in that row, we did it in the row below, but we are now not going to do that one, we are going to skip it. So the next half double crochet that we do is in the next stitch. Half double crochet. Okay, and basically this is your repeat. So now you go down, you've established that you're using this one, so this one you're skipping, the next one you're taking up. Check to see that you are skipping the stitch there, doing your half double crochet over there. There we go. Okay, and this is how you are going to continue. Now, as it's only a repeat of 2 stitches, if you have not got an even amount of stitches going on towards the end of your row here, you're just going to skip an extra one. Okay, it does not matter. You're not going to see that. So make it easy on yourself here as well. Yes, you're skipping this one. Which one is it, the one that you're going to choose to do here? You've used this one, skip that one, use that one. Okay, so make sure that your eye is trained to which stitch you are going to be using without actually having to count it, basically. So can you see I'm just I'm just going in around that stitch, skipping this one, and then at the top here I do a quick tip towards skipping that one, making sure I use this one. Okay, so you get into a little bit of a habit to do this. This stitch will also create problems as well. This is the kind of stitch that will pull your border down and will make it curl in this way, and that's the curling I was talking about earlier. So make sure that when you do your front post double crochet, you give it enough yarn, you build up enough height so it lies flat and it doesn't pull down your edge there. Okay, so I will see you in the corner. Okay, so I have made it to the corner, and as you can see I've got 2 stitches left, so I could do possibly another front post double crochet in here, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to leave these ones unused. So I'm not worried. I'm just going to do half double crochets on top of here, my half double crochets in the corner, so 1 half double crochet, 2 chains and 1 half double crochet. Then I'm going to make sure that I am going to skip the same amount of stitches here as I am here. So 1, 2, this is where I'm going to do my first front post double crochet. So I'm just going to do half double crochets until I get to that location. Which one was it? That one. Okay, so this is the one, I think. So let's have a look. So we've got the corner here. 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2. No, maybe I've got to do another one, but I did decide to skip this stitch here. So just, you know, gauge it. I think I might go around this one anyway. Oh, that was a decrease one. That's okay. Right, okay, so then skip and this one. Let's have a look. That looks fine. Okay, so you just have to, in every corner, have to decide how you're going to do this. It might work out differently because you have a different amount of stitches, but because it's only a stitch repeat of 2, you can play around with it, and if you have 1 or 2 more stitches left over here, it doesn't really matter. So we are going to continue doing our front post double crochets and half double crochets all along the row, just as we did before. And let me just see if that's looking okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this is how you are going to continue doing your corners and your sides, and I will meet you when you get to the beginning again. I'm just coming up to my last corner here, and it doesn't work out. So I've got 1 skipped here, and I'm not going to be able to skip 1 here, but you know what, I'm not even worried. I'm just going to do my half double crochets there and finish the round there. It's fine. There we go. Okay, in the whole scheme of things, nobody's going to see that. So now, again, I have been laying my blanket flat, and yes, my corner is coming up a little bit, but I can still easily push it down, so that's no problem. Okay, so now for row 5, we are going to repeat row 2, and that means doing a row of half double crochets. So you chain 2. The corners are made up of a half double crochet, a chain 2 and a half double crochet. There we go. And then we do 1 half double crochet in each stitch around. So this is what I call the quick row. And of course the other one is the slower row because you're doing those front post double crochets. But I think it's worth it because they give such a lovely structure and a lovely effect, certainly when you do it in different colors. So I will meet you ready to start row 6, where you have changed color and you are doing your front post double crochets again. Okay. Enjoy that film. So I'm doing my row of half double crochets, but in the corners I feel I need to put a few more stitches in, just because it felt a little bit sparse there and I wanted to fill the corners a little bit more. What I want to avoid is getting that tip that comes out, but even having done this, I think it's still fine. So, you know, see how your corners are going and do put in more stitches if you need to, because obviously with the next row we'll be doing those front post double crochets again, and we know how to sort that out, you know, to deal with the corner there. So it should be fine to do that. And I'm just finishing off my last stitch here, slip stitch, closed around. There we go. Okay, so this was row 5. Now we are going to row 6. Row 6 is a new color, so I'm going to go back to my pink. And it says in the pattern to start in the corner, which of course, I'm making a slip knot, which of course is a sensible thing to do. But when you start in the corner, you are going to have to do a short row, a long row, a short row, a long row before you've got your 4 sides done. What I tend to do is I cheat. I tend to start in the middle of a long row, right? So you're doing a short row, then the side, which is a short row, then 1 long row, then the side, which is a short row, and then you're doing another short row to make that second part of the long row. So in a way, you're only doing 1 really long row, and all the others are short ones. Ta-da! This keeps my morale high and keeps me going for doing the border. Now, this pattern means that I can do this because we have a repeat of 1, 2. You can cheat and start in the middle because you are going to have to put your front post double crochet in the location in between 2 other front post double crochets. So you can cheat, you see. Right, so this is what we are going to do. So yarn over, ready for your front post double crochet in the middle somewhere of your long side. Go round this half double crochet here. This is the one that we are going to be picking up. And do your front double crochet. What am I saying? What am I calling it? A front post double crochet. Yes. Then you do your half double crochet. Sorry, that before I was excited. There we go. Okay. Then you go back to that stitch that you're going to be picking up and do your front post double crochet, half double crochet in the next stitch. Again, front post, half double. And as you do, you get into a habit of picking up the stitch sort of around there. Can you see what's happening to the stitch? That's where I picked it up. And then you skip 1 at the top there because of course you've done it in the form of a front post double crochet, There we go, see? And you are on the right track doing that, because that's where I want you to put them, sort of offset from the previous ones. So it didn't really matter that we didn't start in the corner here. You are in the right place, but you are going to get the feeling that you're doing half a row, full row, you know, with the short side, then the very, very long side, and then back to the short side, and then back another side. And for me, I have to say, it does help for doing that, sort of for breaking up that really long side. I only ever do one. But of course, it doesn't work for every stitch repeat, because you know, sometimes you do have to start in a corner when you're doing your border. But here it works. So you are now doing the repeat. Well, not a repeat as such. You're doing row 6 now, okay? Before, in row 4, we started with a half double crochet, then we did the front post. Now, row 6, we start with the front post, then we do the half double crochet. That means we are alternating them, okay? So now, in fact, you know what you're doing. So every color, you will be doing 2 rows, and the first row is making the front post double crochets alternatively to the previous row, and the second row is doing the row of half double crochets to finish off. So good luck with doing the rest of the border. There are 11 rows to do. They are very, very much worth it. Like I said, if your border does curl up a bit, put it on your ironing board, pin it down, steam over it with your iron. Do not touch the yarn with your hot iron. Just blow steam on it about this height and go with the steam function like that. Leave it for just the seconds it takes for you to put your iron down, and take the pins off and move across to the next part where you will be doing it. Go all around your border like that, and I have to say that sorted out that curling problem, and my border is not wavy at all, because of course we have reduced the stitches. And here in this version, I did go to town and I reduced quite a lot of stitches, more than I think I probably did in the blanket, but I just wanted to see the effect. And I have to say it is puckering slightly, but I think by the time I finish the border and I have steamed it, because there'll be a bit of steam on there as well, it's going to be fine. Okay, so this blanket as well is laying nice and flat. I have to admit, I am going to undo this part here, and I think I'm going to leave it like this for Layla's blanket, because of course putting on a huge border like this, this border, in fact, let me just measure it, because that's what I wanted. I wanted a really, really wide border. This border is in fact nearly 2.5 inches, or 6 centimeters wide. So this will add another 12 centimeters to your blanket, another close to 5 inches to your blanket, to the sides and to the length as well, of course. So I hope you have enjoyed making this blanket in our autumn walk Cal, and I hope you will post any pictures that you have of it. But yes, you know, whenever you need help, update, or any progress pictures that you want to post, please feel free to post them in the Facebook group. It has been an absolute pleasure to show you how to do this blanket, to share all my memories with you. And we are not finished. I have got other things up my sleeve, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Before you go, please like and share this video. Ring the bell so you're notified of new videos. Join our community on Facebook, and here are some more videos you might find interesting. Thank you so very much for watching, and come back soon. Bye!